Ladies and gentlemen and fellow survivors of the superhero apocalypse, welcome back to the Critical Nerd, the channel where we dissect the bloated corpse of modern Hollywood, one reboot at a time. Today we've got a real treat, or should I say, a mild disappointment, wrapped in a spandex cape. That's right, we're talking about James Gunn's Superman, the 2025 reboot that's supposed to save DC from itself. Again, for the fifth time. This is the movie that fired Henry Cavill after Black Adam, fired up a new cinematic universe, and fired off more online flame wars than any Snyder Cut thread ever dreamed of. So did James Gunn knock it out of the park? Or is this just another pop fly to the infield while the DCU stares blankly from the dugout? Don't worry, this is a spoiler-free zone. I'm not Warner Brothers. I won't ruin everything before you even buy a ticket. So let's break it down. James Gunn, the man, the myth, the director who made a talking raccoon a household name and who now has the keys to Superman. His stamp is everywhere. This isn't a Superman movie, it's a James Gunn movie that happens to feature a guy in blue tights. You've got kaijus, quips, mid-battle duckface selfies, and Lex Luthor crying like someone canceled his Netflix subscription. Every serious moment, underlined, bolded, and immediately erased with the punchline. Superman is literally getting his ass kicked while people sip coffee in the background like it's brunch in Brooklyn. I'm not saying this movie had to be grimdark, but there's a middle ground between The Dark Knight and Looney Tunes Metropolis Edition. So let's talk about David Cornsweet. The guy's got it. He looks like Superman, he feels like Superman. When he's not being thrown around like a rag doll, he actually brings some earnestness to the role. He's got that golden retriever energy, like if Superman were a wholesome Hufflepuff. But the movie keeps undercutting him. And when he's Clark Kent, Gunn apparently just said, slap the glasses on him and call it a day. There's zero duality. He's just Superman wearing glasses and a TikTok haircut. And it didn't help that Clark Kent shows up for about 5 minutes in this 2-hour chaos carousel. Tonally, it's a mess. Like Guardians of the Galaxy crashed into a Hallmark Christmas special. 1 minute it's trying to be heartfelt about immigration or heroism. The next, it's cartoonish cheese. Superman's supposed to be a symbol of hope, right? But here he feels emasculated. Everyone treats him like a goofy uncle at a barbecue. He saves squirrels, blows on dogs. Get your mind out of the gutter, people. And cries more than I did watching Endgame. And the men in this movie, weeping like it's a therapy session. Meanwhile, the women are sexy and competent, miniskirts, cleavage, high heels. Gunn lets them be feminine, which is refreshing after Marvel's desexualized heroines. But the guys, neutered. Superman cries, Lex cries, everyone cries. It's like DC's version of a rom-com. Let's talk about the cast here for a second. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois, fantastic. She's sharp, stubborn, and actually seems like a real reporter, which is, ironically, the most unrealistic part of this movie. Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor, 1 part evil genius, 2 parts sad boy billionaire. He's got some great moments, and some weird ones, like crying a lot. Apparently everyone in this movie cries. Superman cries, Lex cries, I cried, but only because I paid for IMAX. And the Justice Gang, Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner is basically a James Gunn fever dream come to life. Mr. Terrific, cool, stylish, and criminally underused. And I would also argue he was more Superman than Superman. Now, Hawkgirl? Well, Hawkgirl was there, I guess. It's like James Gunn made a checklist of obscure DC characters, shuffled them into a scene, and said, we'll explain them later. He doesn't. No, not at all. Now, the tone. Let's talk about the tone for a second. This movie is an overcorrection so massive it could be classified as a U turn on a galactic scale. Snyder made Superman too serious? Cool. Let's make this one so lighthearted it floats off the screen. You want drama? Too bad. Here's Krypto the superdog urinating on Lex's credibility and chewing up every emotional beat. We're talking about a social media smear campaign, alien geopolitics, and Superman's public image being destroyed by hashtags. It's like they rewrote Man of Steel as a TikTok reaction video. At one point, Superman literally gets canceled online. I'm not joking. Hashtag super shit. Lex builds a monkey-powered meme machine to ruin his reputation. And this is the plot. This is canon now. Visually, the movie is comic book candy. You'll get some genuinely breathtaking frames, shots that feel lifted straight from the Silver Age panel. And then Gunn tapes the camera to a GoPro strapped to Krypto's tail and spins it like a Beyblade for 45 seconds. The CGI? Sometimes crisp, sometimes janky. There's a fight where Lex Luthor walks through explosions like he's in a perfume commercial. Not badass, just awkward. And let's be real. There's so much happening in every frame, your eyes will need a chiropractor by the end. Now, look. For everyone panicking about whether this movie is quote-unquote woke, relax. I mean, there's the brouhaha that James Gunn created a couple days before the release, where he mentioned politics in interviews, and yes, immigration allegory, maybe, but it's barely there. The MAGA outrage machine can tone it down a little bit. They can, throttle it back a bit. The real problem here isn't the message. It's the mess. The movie wants to be about hope, intervention, legacy, and social media all at once. And ends up being about none of it. Because right when it tries to make a point, a Krypto fart joke swoops in and smothers it like Lex on Twitter. Now, is this a Superman movie? I would argue, no, not really. I mean, that's the tragedy of it all. This could have been the Superman movie, a true rebirth of the character, but instead, it's a buffet of chaos with Superman as a side dish. It feels like we skip straight to Justice League 1.5 social media wars without ever building the foundation. There's no clear story arc, just action, exposition, action, dog joke, repeat. And somehow, despite all of the sound and fury, it never lands. Because you can't have emotional payoff when your tone keeps bailing out of every scene like it forgot its car was double parked. So here's the verdict for me. James Gunn's Superman isn't terrible. It's not amazing. It's spectacularly mid. If you loved Guardians of the Galaxy, and I loved Guardians of the Galaxy, I actually liked all three. And if you enjoy quippy chaos, and if you think a CGI dog stealing every scene sounds great, well, this is the movie for you. But if you wanted a Superman film with mythic gravitas, emotional weight, or even basic structure, grab a drink because you're going to need it. Now let's talk brass tacks, and that's the box office. I think this movie's going to end up somewhere in the 700 million range when it's all said and done. I mean, not bad for mid-July spectacle with DC's biggest icon. Well, at least you would think. Except, taking into account the budget, what they spent on marketing, that's nowhere near the 1.2 billion that it's going to need to break even. This movie is not going to make money. Yeah, sure, the fans love it. Critics love it. That's great and all, but ultimately, it's all about the dollar, the mighty Benjamin. But don't worry though. Warner Brothers and DC, they'll put out there that it's a critical success, and call it a win. Because apparently in Hollywood, losing hundreds of millions of dollars is just part of the multiverse strategy. Superman deserved better, and honestly, so do we. So that's it for today, folks. Just thought I'd put this one out there, my review of Superman. Saw it this afternoon, and I gotta say, I gotta give it a 5 out of 10. So smash that like button harder than Superman got bodied in the first 5 minutes. Subscribe for more brutally honest reviews, and let me know in the comments. Has James Gunn saved the DC universe? Or just build another sandcastle waiting for the tide? Until next time, stay skeptical, stay sarcastic, and remember, in a world full of reboots, always be critical. Critical Nerd, out.